Hello everyone, this is Critic giving you a shoutcast in a game between Moon versus oGs's MC. This is taken from MLG Colombus. Once again, thanks to MLG for making all of these replays public and letting me watch them with you. So I know some of these games have already been cast, they were cast live as well, but then again, who doesn't enjoy watching more StarCraft 2? These games were coming in pretty highly rated. Moon spawning as the red Zerg player at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, MC spawning here as the blue Protoss at the 10 o'clock position here on Testbug. Testbug, one of my favorite maps, only 3 spawning locations. And so it has the predictability of Naga Caverns or any of the 2-player spawn maps, but you are not always going to know where exactly your opponent has spawned. The reason why I say the predictability, just because this map is so balanced in the 3-way positioning, you always know that it is going to be spawning either to the left or to the right of you, and there's really not that big of a difference if they do spawn to the left or to the right of you. As you can expand into a different direction. The Protoss probe going to be able to come up this ramp. MC going to quickly see that there is no creep and then start backing off, and now already by process of elimination knows where Moon is. Now Moon needs no introduction. Moon, a very well-known Night Elf player from Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne. He was one of the best Night Elf players out there. So good, in fact, that a lot of players considered his Night Elf play to be so unique and different that Moon was the 5th race. So we'll see how Moon does in MLG. Moon also finding some success in StarCraft 2 as well as he did in Warcraft 3, and it's only going to be a matter of time as Moon does have very, very high micro skills, and it should translate very well for him. I am surprised that Moon is trying to learn how to play Zerg. Zerg is a much more macro-intensive race compared to any of the other races. So Warcraft 3 much more micro-intensive, as the probe just dancing around now, getting some early damage, but not really going to be able to do all too much there. You can see a little bit of micro damage onto that drone. The drone down to 15 hit points, but it will slowly be able to regenerate some hit points there, and now being transferred to a mineral patch that is a little bit more further in, as Moon now going into Speedlings. So Speedlings here on Testbug, as a drone taking even more damage, down to 21 hit points, another fresh drone coming in, but that probe does need to get out of there, knowing that Zerglings should be coming in just a moment. An Overlord does scout this out over here. I do not see enough minerals for a hatchery just quite yet, as the Zerglings now pecking away at this one probe. Should be able to perhaps get in front of it. Oh, but because the MC had purposely tried to mineral path with his probe already, was able to simply pass through, and now you can see that the probe may be actually able to escape there, perhaps taking a little bit of damage. No, 2 Zerglings, enough to get the damage dealt, and now we should be setting up a hatchery down at the natural expansion as well. So Moon are getting that expansion up. 2 Zerglings now running across the map here, and we'll see how MC does with these 2 Zealots. So 2 Zealots, and now even more Zealots coming out. So this is MC opening up with a lot of early Zealot play. This is a very strange opening, as I normally do not see 3 Zealots being trained out this early already. You can see that the 4 Zerglings are trying to regroup together. 4 Zerglings can take down 1 Zealot when they are even in upgrades, and that is going to be a very big problem, as those Zealots should be able to shut down this hatchery rather easily. And are the Zerglings going to be able to run by, though? Yes, able to run by. And now MC in a bit of trouble, as the probes are now going to be in a little bit of a fight for their lives. MC now just trying to run around with those probes, able to force a lot of mining time stopping, as those Zerglings do have that, finally get that metabolic boost, but the Zealots getting in some damage over here. In come a sea of Zerglings now, gonna get some damage onto these Zealots over here, but both sides just battling back and forth. A sentry may get taken down. Yes, down it goes. And if the cybernetics core gets taken down, that is going to be absolutely horrific, as that is going to delay the research even further. The Zerglings now trying to back off once more. Meanwhile, the Zealots over here now trying to fight and doing a very good job making sure that they cannot get easily surrounded. But Moon in a very dominant position now with a lot of Zerglings out, and it looks like the Zerglings are just continuing to battle it out there. Workers killed, 3 workers lost compared to 0 so far. Total losses 600 versus 325. Some damage dealt on a cybernetics core, but not all too much, as the sentry now needs to try to fend off this attack here. Zergling is now going to continue to swarm in, and will the key question be whether or not the Zergling can be able to come down? No, it will not be able to squeeze by there. 1 sentry is in play, a 2nd sentry now coming in, allowing for another 20 seconds. Another 20-second block with that force field. The force field is now down. The Zerglings, however, deciding to back off and playing it a little bit more safe there. You can see that Moon has a stronger economic lead, mining off of 16 mineral patches instead of 8. And the harvester count should show how much of a strong army he will be able to build up with just that many minerals. Currently power droning and also going into a roach war, and the Zerg is now perhaps trying to swarm in. Could have gotten some damage onto that one probe there. The sentries are in the back, very nicely positioned, as MC now trying to get up a strong enough army to fend off any of this Zergling pressure and the Zergling harassment. One of the benefits for warping in Zealots is that the Zealots have the slowest cooldown on those warp gates. Sentries also in behind as well will be able to get down a lot of force fields, be able to fend off any of these Zerglings. But as soon as those roaches come in, that is going to be a completely different story. Harvester count now 38 compared to 28. A very strong economy coming in for Moon, as Moon just needs to play his advantage very carefully. He needs to be cold and calculating. If he tries to press in right now where MC will be able to reinforce, that is not going to work out well for him. Also 60 food over 60 compared to 49 over 50. We are getting more overlords being trained up. And now sitting at 67 over 76. So that is definitely going to help. Another hatchery has been placed down over here. So yes, expanding at the, I believe, the 7-minute mark, 7-minute 30-second mark around that time. And now more stalkers coming in. MC going to have a very difficult time trying to wall off against this very wide open choke point. But with the Nexus down into play here, there is only one choke point here and then another choke point here. So that does definitely help Zergling quickly getting taken down as the roaches are now making their way out. We are finally going into layer tech. So tier 2 layer tech already coming in. We are getting the missile upgrades already as well. So the missile upgrades followed by the Glio reconstitutions. We may even get level 1 armor upgrades as the Zerglings now try to take down these destructible rocks. Only 1,500 hit points on this set of rocks as the Phoenix now making its way out. And we are going to see a little bit more of an evening out. No, actually we do not, as it is City 36 harvesters compared to 51. The Phoenix is able to spot this hatchery, and now MC knows that he is in a bit of trouble. The Phoenix is just still wandering about. Drones are being transferred over already. More drones are going to be able to start mining there. As you can see, 63 compared to 38. MC needs to deal damage with his army. He does have the larger army at this point, but it is going to be so easy for Moon to just simply macro up. And the moment that this army does try to move out, I am surprised that no Zerglings are sitting out over here waiting to see if these units are going to be making a push out. A Zergling now coming up this ramp, making sure that there is no expansion off in this location at all. As the units are now making a move once again. The Zerglings now coming in, perhaps going to get some damage. No, unable to sneak by there. As the sentries, zealots, and stalkers finishing off this set of destructible rocks. The roaches are activating this Zelnaga watchtower here, and I believe a Phoenix, a hallucinated Phoenix, just taking a lot of damage, but is still getting a lot of sight and scout information. MC looking looking with a very promising army, may be able to get back into this if his micro is absolutely perfect. The income difference 63 compared to 46 now, but the real true story is the amount of gas Moon is able to harvest right now, about 700 a minute, as we are now going into level 1 missile attacks. Groove Spines, Glio reconstitution, Burrow, pneumatized carapaces, and an Overseer are now making its way out, perhaps to see if there are any observers out and about. We are having one observer making its way out over here. MC still being very careful as it tries to push out. He is behind on 50 food. So that is definitely going to hurt him as the armies are still being added. Level 2 weapons upgrade, pneumatized carapaces, groove spines, Glio reconstitution, more roaches and hydralisks, and without any colossi to really counter this roach swarm, it's going to be very difficult. We can see that the stalkers now making their way into the center over here, and now the roach is going to be trying to engage. The Overseer does have that pneumatized carapace as well, able to move very quickly. The roach is finding their target and shutting it down. That Overseer just getting just played like a fool, trying to fly away, and the stalkers may actually be able to get in some damage here if the Overseer does not back off in time. Roaches are underneath. Will it be enough? There are going to be a lot of force fields coming in as the stalkers may be able to blink. No, not going to be able to blink. The roaches are on creep now, so has a decent movement speed once again, and poof, there goes the Phoenix. Stalkers, one observer, a lot of sentries. The sentries have a lot of energy on them, so that is definitely going to help out as we have another expansion attempt by Moon, as the roaches are now perhaps going to try to engage here. No, the creep tumors really giving a faster movement speed upgrade onto those roaches and those hydralisks. Hydralisk very, very dangerous on creep as the Overlords now being forced to pull back once again. Roach is now trying to engage. It looks like, oh no, unable to get any true damage there as the Stalkers may be able to perhaps get a little bit of a flank. No Spine Crawlers here. So that is a little bit of an issue as the Stalkers of MC now going to be trying to push up along this side. And I believe a lot of damage will be had. You can see Moon sitting at 179 over 182. Spine Crawlers are finally coming into play, but not going to be able to do all too much as the Roaches are now trying to engage as well. In come the Force Field. Roaches need a burrow underneath. One Queen going to get picked apart to pieces just ever so easily, but he's going to actually take this time to counterattack as the Hydralisk and Roaches level 2 weapons upgrade nearly completed. 17 or 14 Zergling. Hydralisk now coming back over here. Drones now doing a push instead as the Roaches and Hydralisk doing a base race. The Sentries and Stalkers are moving very, very slowly as the Roaches now coming back in over here. We should be getting some force field downs, and now the force fields are coming into play. The Roaches perhaps going to try to engage over here. Stalkers able to blink back, but that's going to push the Sentries to the front, and there you go. There is a couple of those Roaches burrowing back, and that Overseer was able to snipe down the Observer, and that is a definite issue. Drones now being transferred over to this high ground location here. It is still a lot of a lot of income there as Moon now just pushing with a superior forces. And at 195, Food should maybe able to just simply attack move. Zerglings now cutting off a lot of Stalkers in the backfield as well. Roach is just moving around. Hydros now coming over to engage. Overseer may get shot down. Yes, there it goes. But damage has been dealt. Roaches are upgraded 2-0. Stalkers upgraded 1-0 only. As the force fields are coming into play, there is one Observer in the air, and more force fields are coming into play as well. The Roaches perhaps should just burrow, get up that ramp, but oGs MC says GG. So Moon able to get some early damage with those Zerglings after a failed triple Zealot pressure by MC and able to carry that over into the win. Moon knew that he could easily just power drill and get a strong economy, and MC really never had a chance to come back into this game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1 in this series. Stay tuned for Game 2.